What is called a geography has a completely different connotation and meaning in universal terms. That means international spheres. It has a completely different meaning among the academic circles of India and an altogether different meaning for civil services aspirants. Now, universally, and once you happen to see the meaning of the subject in Europe, in Africa, in Russia, in Australia, which is not so significant in North America, Latin America, they all are different. It's not exactly that there is something called a geography as a full-fledged subject. Effectively, there are many branches of this subject which are dominating those regions. And these branches pertain to either the physical geography front or the human geography front of sorts. For example, for physical geography, it can go on to be geomorphological studies. Of course, geographers are not going to be climatologists at all, largely because for climatology, you require a very solid knowledge of physics, which geographers do not go on to possess in general. But universally, a good number of people happen to be coming from sciences background, and that's the basic reason that they are able to switch as a social science subject in geography or to something else. And the third more important component is, in this case, is going to be that of environment related. Now, environment related aspects are now complete full-fledged subjects, and it has nothing to do with geography or something to do with geography or everything to do with the whole of environmental sciences. That includes botany, zoology, it is paleontology, it is geography, it is physics, it is geomorphology, what not combined as part of environmental sciences. So the best manifestation of geography as a subject happens to be in form of what is called as environmental sciences of sorts. Then there is a second part of it as well. The second part concerns itself with business studies, that is geography for business studies, and that is concerned with economic geography. How is it that the trade? How is it that the commodities are going to be traded? How is it that the crops are going to be grown? And which is the country which should be surplus? Which is the one country that should go on to have these types of surpluses, or which are those type of countries which always must go on to invite those type of surpluses for the purpose of trade, is what is going to be concerning one part. Then the industrial production aspects, and that is one component you will be surprised to find that is finding itself manifested in Ukraine, and one of the reasons why this so-called conflict in between Ukraine and Russia, although it will not be proper to call it as a conflict because Ukraine is Russian territory only. It's only that Russia wants to have it back, wrest it back. Whichever may have been the method, but then the method that has been applied and implied by the West has been completely lost sight of by all of those people who call it as an invasion. And that is really a colonial sick mindset who happen to be calling it. It's like somehow West Bengal happens to go itself out of it because of the instigation of someone, and India tries to wrest it, and then someone goes on to call that West Bengal is being invaded by India. Now that is not going to be proper, or whichever way that is the Tamilians are behaving it right now. If they call that they are not part of India and that they want to move away with Pakistan, and then thereafter, if the whole of the country and all the union of the states happens to invade it, then that will not be called as invasion at all. It will be called as a wresting it. And there are enough good signs that there are certain nefarious things that are happening in both of these type of states. Of course, it may not be the people, but then the government, which the people may have decided or given a mandate to, but then they may not have given the full mandate to do all of these things. Geography manifests itself here as well. Geography manifests itself in the form of all the type of political conflicts that are taking place. Now, to understand why exactly is it that the conflict is taking place in Luhansk, in Donetsk basin, in Kuzbas, or in any of these regions, in Kyiv, Makiivka, Dnipropetrovsk, or maybe we talk about Chernobyl. Why is it that the resting of Chernobyl may go on to spell a death knell for the whole of Ukrainian region? That is associated with the geography. Geography cannot be divorced from the internal security problems or any of these problems that anyone can feel it. So internationally and universally, this is the meaning of geography, and this is what exactly is the changing meaning of geography. And this does not make it complete. Nationally, geography in India occupies a completely different type of a perception, completely different type of a position, and so on. Now, understand that part. As a student, you must have felt that if you do not go on to get admission in any subject, anywhere, the last resort is first is geography, thereafter it is going to be history. That is going to be the second last day. Now, that is the level where we have brought this subject up to. That is going to be one component. The second is, as far as geography is concerned, India has not been able to produce even one single scholar. Now, because it doesn't go on to be having a scholar, consequently, it does not also go on to have an idol for geography. It's like, because you had a Vijay Merchant, that is why you had Vijay Hazare, and that is the why you had Polly Umbriger, and that is the reason you had a Sunil Gavaskar, and that was the reason you had Azharuddin, and that was the reason you had Rahul Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar, and now Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. That is the significance of idol. Geography doesn't go on to be having this part, which people or students can go on to think of emulating. And for that purpose, maybe geography itself has to be blamed to a large extent. And why? Because in India, it is associated, at the university level, it is associated with everything other than being logic. As the name suggests, graphy, that is description. It is not logic. So, it is not logically associated with it. That is going to be one component. Second is the research in geography in India is at a real nadir of sorts. There is hardly any authenticated research in this case. There is a third part as well. The third part is associated with the name itself. That is, in India, it is going to be considered to be completely as a part of a social science. And if someone tries to venture it out, to make it and insert a different paradigm, of course, you can understand what can go on to happen. They are going to be chased all the way, and they are going to be criticized so much that they will go on to die an unnatural death, like Alfred Wegener did. There is a fifth part as well. That is, the innovations associated with the subject in India has not come forth. And to cap it all, we do not go on to be having a type of departments which can actually set trend for geography in the country. Like IIS has physics, like BHU is going to be known for something, like IIT Kanpur known for something. So you cannot go on to say that geography in the country means this department. For example, some 50, 60, 70 years back, even before as well, that means during the pre-partition period of India, there was a department that was in Patna University. And there were people like S.C. Chatterjee, S.L. Kayast, they were there, and who were responsible for producing some lot of authentic works, research, and geography meant them. Geography meant those people, and those people mean geography. That is how the relationship was, because they were the one who were the makers of geography in the country. You'll remember that it was Professor S.C. Chatterjee who was responsible for giving the name Meghalaya. So you can imagine the aura of that person who was responsible, was invited to have been giving such type of a name. And he must have observed so many things to be in a position to be giving those many names as well. So that is going to be another component that is, it is not going to be associated with that much amount of an aura which the subject actually demands, so as to take it on a higher pedestal. For all of these reasons, geography doesn't go on to be in vogue to such an extent. Even subjects like population geography, like urban geography, urban studies, they have not been made marked by geographers of sorts. If someone has done it so, then someone else has done it. People from other branches have done it so. People from other sciences have done it so. Not exactly that geographers have done it so. So-called geographers, as we can go on to say it so. So, geography, all in all, is in a real abysmal state in the country, and consequently, the impact of it on the psyche of the people and psyche of the students is that psyche of the people who want to study is that if there is anything new that is going to be studied, if there is anything new that comes in the way, all of these people go on to get alarmed, and when they go on to get alarmed, whenever they are going to get alarmed, this alarming means that they will not go on to take innovations in a very, very good manner. Now, that has an impact on civil services. We are going to be talking about it. That is going to be the third component associated with it. So, economic geography, urban geography, population geography, these are the components which are always going to be in a circulation, but these are circulation for the purpose of research by people who want to do PhD. They are pseudo doctors of sorts, largely because the quality of the PhD leaves a lot to be desired in this case. So universally, this is where geography is placed. Nationally, where this is where geography is placed. And when you're going to pick it up for the civil services, the placing is going to be on a completely different pedestal. And when we say it is going to be on a different pedestal, it means many things, many variables. The first is the subject has been made popular by people who are from outside the subject. People who are from physics, people who are from mechanical engineering, and so on. Now you can imagine that that good number of work in geography has been done by people, and include I have been also one of them in this case, who have written books, and they have been completely written from a scientific angle. If geographers go on to be writing this book, they write it for university examination, and consequently it becomes stale after some amount of a time. And when something else is being done, it is being done in a completely different manner by a science student of sorts. Now, even I'm not from geography, I'm from physics, but then it's not that I am master in geography, but then I have combined a lot of logical aspects to come to this part. So that is one aspect of it. So most of this teaching for a person like me who is not from a geography background has been by students. They ask a question, we answered it. They again ask, again it was answered. They again ask, it was a curiosity, we solved it, and it was in due process that so many things started happening. And as it started happening, a lot of new things started coming up as well. Moreover, one has to rouse the curiosity of the students who are preparing for the one of the toughest examinations in the country. So that was one component. Second was the subject was made popular also because in civil services it became very logical. That means for a university the air was rising because someone had said so, that as the air rises, like we're going to find in a conventional books like that of Savinder Singh, according to Kimball, in D.S. Lal, according to Johnson, as the air rises, the air will go on to expand, and as it expands, it will go on to lead to condensation. Now, condensation is of three types according to, again, another person, according to Swerdrup, according to maybe May, and so on. So that is how exactly the presentation in the text have been, essentially, and all in all. Now, when we are going to be talking about it, it has a lot of other connotations as well. Now, when you are talking about it in such a manner, then it suits the psyche and minds of the students who are preparing for civil services because they understand the answer of logic. Now, if there is anyone who still goes on to go on a conventional track, it basically means that they are not here to qualify for the examination. They are here to only appear for the examination. And that makes a big, big, big difference. And that is where the difference essentially lies as well. That's going to be another component. The third has been that for civil services, the subject has been popular, and to a large extent, UPSC plays a role in that. Because at one point of time in 1980s, 86, something like 84 to almost like 90s, the so-called knowledge that was required or needed to qualify for a civil services with geography as a subject was going to be only at the level of NCERT. That was the basic level. Of course, it is not right now, despite the fact that good number of students may think so still. So that has been the case. So that is going to be one component associated with it. And when we are going to be talking about it, that meant that geography was made popular, and consequently, good number of students started coming into geography. But then in civil services, it offers a lot of advantage. With geography, with the study of geography, your study of international relations becomes easy. So that is why it became popular. With the study of geography, the correlationship part and the missing link between economics, science, and of course geography or maybe environment also goes on to be bridged. The third is, with the study of geography, your imagination power is always going to be developed. That is going to become better. And the comprehension of any subject, maybe even economics as well, for a student goes on to become much, much, much better. The fifth has been that geography was always going to be pretty mark switching. It is still, and it has always been so. So, meaning that the amount of labor needed to qualify for this examination, with geography as a subject, with economics as a subject. Of course, with economics as a subject, the input level is very high. With geography, it is going to be pretty low. That is going to be the third part associated with it. The fourth component, the other component associated with it has been connected with the degree of current affairs overlapping in this case. Now, the amount of current affairs overlapping in geography has been increasing more and more day by day, day by day. And because it has been increasing, it has become very, very contemporary. That means even if a student happens to be studying only newspaper, they will be able to correlate newspaper with geography, events like that. If they study something like heat wave and they come to know that heat wave has been caused because of certain factors, even if it is that they may not have resorted back to the text, they still will be able to do it so. And lastly, geography offers them a basic minimum effort and multi-dimensional thinking. Basic minimum effort, that means the amount of thinking needed, amount of material needed to prepare for geography, that is largely based on imagination, is less, and that you add a lot of dimensions in your mind because there are different subjects that offer different type of a scope. Physical geography offers a different scope and a different thinking. It suits the psyche of the students of sciences. Human geography offers a different type of a scope. It suits the psyche of all these students who are from sciences as well as social sciences. Indian geography suits the psyche of all those people who are very good in general studies also, because they can use the facts used in general studies, a second paper or maybe in Indian geography for the purpose of Indian geography in such a manner that a conventional student and a conventional geography student can never ever go on to use at all. Now, that is what exactly is the advantage of geography for civil services. If there are some subjects that the students must go on to resort to in order to help them prepare for their general studies, it is, one is political science, another is geography, third is public administration, and the fourth will be history. These are the 4 subjects. Of course, students do going to qualify with medicine, with mechanical engineering, with mathematics and physics as well. But then a good number of students from sciences will take geography as the option. And for science students, because it is a logical conclusion for a lot of things, the process derived is going to be logical, and that is the reason why it is best suited to the students of science.
To have more such discussions and analysis, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications on our upcoming videos.